Hi, this is Steve Owens with Entertainment World, and I have Chantelle Albers with me today. I'm excited to have you here. You got a brand new movie that is out, Two Sinners and a Mule, and it's a love story around two prostitutes. That's got to be a first for a Western. Tell me about the film, the cast, and your character.
Oh yeah, well, we always got to do something different, right? Yeah, so the story of two sinners and a mule, it starts off with these two ladies of the night that are in this old Western town. It takes place in the 1800s. We get kicked out of town by the Women's Decency League, and as we are off wandering around the desert, figuring out what we're going to do with our lives to, reinvent ourselves, we come upon this bounty hunter that's been left for dead. So we're able to nurse him back to health. And I actually strike up a deal with him. I said, hey, you know what? You're in no shape to take on, a bounty, whatever it is you're hunting right now. We'll help you for half. And so he reluctantly takes on these, ladies of the night, and we turn into bounty hunters that go on this journey of, kind of heartache. There's a lot of comedy, gunfighting, adventure, all of that wrapped into one movie. So.
Oh, cool. So you actually got to fire some guns?
Oh yeah, yeah. I actually got to do the one-headed flipcock that John Wayne did.
Oh, wow.
There, yeah, I learned how to do that. So
Very cool. So who are your other cast members in the movie, and who was the director?
well, we have Buck Taylor in the movie. He's really great. Cam Gigandet is in it, Hannah James is in it, and Raleigh Wilson was directing it. So and
Great.
Corey Feldman, he's great too. He plays our bad guy in it. So
Aha.
the bounty we're after.
So when did you first get interested in acting, and was there any particular moment that sparked your interest into entertainment?
I've always kind of been interested in acting. I remember being a little kid and wanting to act, just watching TV and wanting to do that. And I even would go in the newspaper, the local newspaper in the Midwest is where I grew up, and we didn't have a lot of theater opportunity. So what we did have, or sorry, we didn't have a lot of film opportunity. What we had was theater. And so what I did was performed in plays and did speech and drama and went to school for theater, but then I moved to LA to do film. So I've been out in LA for quite a while.
Fantastic. Tell me a little bit more about your journey to Los Angeles. Um, was it tough to convince your parents into letting you become an actor? Or
Well, it's funny. My dad actually helped move me out, so they did help me move out there, so they were supportive in that way. But I really didn't know anyone when I moved out there, so it was just a cold move. But I, eventually started working in web series, and then booked an indie film and booked some more films and then some TV shows and kind of built up from there. So I also produced a film, and I actually love being a filmmaker. It's a lot of fun to actually put the story together and have a say in how the story unfolds and like the editing process and having your final touch on the film. I really enjoy having that.
so then you kind of have a respect now for a director and a producer when they go, we're on budget.
Oh yeah, for sure, for sure. This is the Sixth Friend. That's a film that I produced and acted in with one of my friends, and that was it's kind of like going to film school all in a matter of 8 months.
Exactly.
Yeah.
As an actress, you're likely to portray a wide range of character. Is there anything specifically or a role you would like to play?
You know, what I really enjoyed playing this role of Alice. And so what I really liked about her was her character arc, like where she starts from versus how she ends. She starts off as a lady of the night, but she ends as, a very strong, heroic woman that actually is a woman of faith. And I would like to play more characters like that have like an awakening or they become someone else at the end of the movie. They've grown into a new person or been reborn in a way. So I think that's kind of cool to play.
Cool. On the Two Sinners and a Mule, the role you play,
Mhm.
were you drawn to it because of the script or by the character?
I think kind of both. I was really drawn to the character of Alice, like I said, because of the character arc that she has. She starts off as a woman of sin, but then she turns into something totally different at the end. She's very strong and heroic and faithful. Um, but I also really liked the fact that there were like two female heroines that kind of go along in the story, and then there's also a male to balance it out. And so I kind of thought, let's kind of like, the three amigos off on off on this Wild West adventure. And I enjoyed a lot of the comedy that was in the script too, because when there is such dark material, you need to break it up with some comedy too, to to give our emotions a break a little bit. So I really liked the way it was written. So I would say I was drawn to both.
Can you share any of the memorable or funny moments that were on the set or behind the scenes kind of stuff?
Oh gosh, there were so many. There I always say there was so many funny moments when me and Grimes, who is Cord Newman, we were doing our one of our final scenes together, where we did our own stunts and everything. So there was a lot of funny moments during that rustling around in the mud and everything. I don't want to say too much because I don't want to give away the ending, but well, there's always funny moments behind the scenes, especially westerns who are working with animals. So everything can be unpredictable, if you will.
So had you ridden a horse before you got into the movie?
Yeah, I have. I've actually I grew up on a ranch, so I've been riding horse since I was a little kid.
Oh, that's fabulous. What kind
Yeah.
of preparation or research do you typically do when you prepare for a new role? Is there any specific techniques or methods that you try to keep in your progress?
Yeah. Well, like I said, this was a period piece, so you always want to keep that time frame in mind whenever you're portraying the character or studying the character, and also like a woman's role at that time, because it was much different than what it is today. Today or back then, it was very unlikely that you would see a woman bounty hunter. So, Alice really was breaking the mold when she decided to, take this challenge on. But another thing that I think can help you to develop a character is I like to really, really read the script and just dissect it and get the character's pentameter and rhythm. And even when I read the character, like what they're saying, you develop subtext and a backstory. And sometimes you can even work against the script a little bit, because what they're saying might not even be what you mean, if you will. There was a story that Alice told about her husband, because she was actually going to be a bride, but before her husband could get married, his kin didn't really like the marriage
Mhm.
arrangement. And before the wedding happened, he fell on a horse and hit his head on a rock and died. And
Oh,
in the story, in the story, that's the official, or in the script, that's the official story. But for me, as Alice, I'm like, yeah, right. What else happened? His kin didn't want us to get married. He was riding his horse spooked, and he fell off and hit his head on a rock and died. It's just, and then she doesn't get any of, that's why she went into being what she was because she had no other means of supporting herself. So just as an actor, I made that choice of, I'm gonna go with that's a lie. And so then when she tells the story, you can kind of see she's like telling the story, but underneath she's like, I know what happened. So you can just kind of add those details into characters. And I think you only get that from reading the script many, many times and really dissecting what's in there.
so what advice would you give aspiring actors who are coming from the Midwest and they're like all excited about getting off the bus and thinking, oh, I'm going to get discovered at the ice cream shop?
Oh, well, I would say that, follow your dreams. And there's a lot that can be done online as far as, pursuing, being creative online and having a creative outlet as an actor. There's a lot of things you can do online as far as, with all the social media platforms right now and all the technology that we have at our fingertips. We're able to do, an interview, but we're not in person, so, they can always pick up a camera and, feel free to write and, move to LA if they so choose. So yeah,
What did you find to be the toughest thing about being a producer on your own movie?
I would say it's all the hats that you have to wear. You have a lot of responsibilities, so you just have to, be really organized and uh keep everything in order and make sure that, budgets are on, because that's one of the most important things, because you can't move on if you don't have that in order. But it's it's challenging because there is so much responsibility, but at the end of the day, you can feel really proud of your work and know that you had, your stamp of creativity on it, I guess. So that's really rewarding too.
So if somebody were to watch your movie and say, we want to give you $10 million, go make another movie, what would you make a movie about?
Gosh, let's say, well, can I say it? I think that there's a lot of stories in the Bible that could be really cool because there's a lot of supernatural that's in there, and a lot of hope and a lot of heartache and everything that you want in a movie. So I think that there's some really cool stories that could be told from that. So pick any book. They're all pretty crazy, and I think they'd make for a great story. So
Besides acting, do you have any other creative pursuits or hobbies that you enjoy doing?
I have 3 dogs, so I love spending time with my dogs. I also love traveling. I love cooking. Um, I love reading too. Those are kind of my top hobbies, I guess.
So is there any specific directors or actors you'd like to work with in Hollywood?
Yeah, I think it'd be a lot of fun to work with Candace Cameron Bure or Kelsey Grammer with their new films that they have out. I think those are kind of cool. I've also been another person that I really think is a great actor is Edie Falcour.
Okay.
I remember her from her series Nurse Jackie.
Mhm.
It's an old series from like 2007, and I just love the way she played that role. I thought she really nailed the character, and her too. Such a character arc. Season 1, where she starts off to season 7 is just a totally different person, and through every single year, we just gradually get to see her on this journey, and it's like she has her ups and downs, and we see the choices she makes, and she's able to layer characters so well. So that's what I really admired about her work.
So where can we see your movie?
Well, you can catch it on Amazon, on Tubi, or I don't think it's on Tubi yet because it's still rental. But it's on Amazon, Apple TV, Roku, all of the streaming sites for rental. So
Fantastic. Are you on social media where people can follow you?
yes, I'm on Instagram at Chantelle Albers, and my Facebook is at Chantelle Albers also.
Fantastic. Do you have anything coming out besides this film?
Yeah, I have a couple of things coming out. I have a few projects scheduled for this fall, but I can't talk about them quite yet. But
The
they're
NDA word, huh?
yeah, the NDA again. But
Well, I want to wish you the best of luck in the year, and soon we'll be seeing you at the Oscars or the Emmys. So,
oh, awesome. Well, thank you so much. I appreciate it.
all right.